Recording. Okay, fine, good. Maybe someone will watch this later. All right, so that's a kind of, I think it's the most complicated workshop. Bam bam. Can someone mute? 111. Okay, good. Now it's not happening. Okay, thank you. So basically, it's I pushed this workshop for later, which is like now, because I really didn't know how to make workshop like that, and I will explain to you kind of like what is the idea behind it and why I do think that it's important. So in many workshops cases we always see on YouTube or here in studio as well, we're just like showing off. Okay, we that look on the result, okay, or look, I'm doing something, and then look how you're doing certain effect. But actual work, it's not that. Actual work is like, okay, how do we do something? Let's try that. Okay, let's try this. Okay, let's keep going. And then there's director, and there are changes, and so on and so on and so on. And what I would try to go through is I will try to take just a shot, and the similar that I was doing script reviews with you. It's to have a look how the shot progressed from version 0 to version 100, and how the script was maintained to get there. And I find it extremely important to kind of try to get as much information from this as possible, because usually, again, we're not coming from, okay, we have to do something, we're doing something. No, we have to do something, we're building a basic script, and then shit happens, and then all your plans are broken because you did mess up your script, and now you're telling that it takes 1/2 hour per frame to render because the CG is so complicated and render farm is not working, and director doesn't know what he's doing. But actual answer is that you did mess up your script, and you're not able to work anymore because you didn't manage to keep your stuff together. And it's not going to be, look at this, it's amazing, I did not fix anything. I did open scripts right now. On these scripts worked some, like, I don't know, 4 people, and I would like just to go through things with you as I'm going by myself through your scripts, and we will just try to find things which are good and you should keep, and we will find things that we probably should not keep and we should change, and we will just see it in the real production, how things which are good help us to advance forward, and how things which are bad will kick our ass, and that's why we always need to fix them. Okay, again, as always, there's sometimes there will be stuff which are, well, this is a style and this is recommendation, and I'm always would encourage you, okay, listen what I'm saying, and then think, well, I like it, I don't like it, I will follow it, I will say, well, that's bullshit, I don't like it, and in another company we did it differently. That's absolutely fine. And there will be also things which are, you have to do it this way. And usually I will mention if it's just like, well, that's the style, and sometimes it's just, well, it's so beneficial that whatever you did in previous life or whatever you think can be done, it's just not reasonable. Because if it's like, you know, if it's like 50 or if it's like 60-40, well, go for 40 if you like it. But if it's like 99-1, you probably don't want to go and use something which is absolutely makes no sense. Okay, again, in this workshop, no fancy stuff, no crazy things, pretty boring, but I think that's extreme kind of like important as, again, basic things which will help you to advance, and so on and so on. Okay, so I think the very first workshop that I did this year was the basics, and this is a follow-up of this workshop, basically. Okay, so let's have a look. Let's have a look on the show that we would like to comp, and that's the. This is the edit ref of the shot from Arc that we did on Loki. Many of you did work on this project. Some of you saw it in cinema, but that was the first thing that arrived from the client. Okay, so the first of all, I would spend on the shot some like 2, 3, 4 minutes just watching the edit ref to understand everything that I'm supposed to do there and understand how I would like to tackle that. So before you going to comp, starting to do key, to do masks, you really want to spend quite some time on the actually understanding what has to be done. So here we have our assumptions. Whoever is it, Ryan and Trickster, you press S and you're getting assumptions on this specific shot. I will read it right now, and we say, well, we will have assume additional setup for staging. So we will want to add branching timeline, which is in the end. We saw it right now. And it will be complex, not just one line. Okay, there will be complex effects done. Fine. Office set extension is all the upper part of the office and the middle window going to be replaced. CG window, comp window, reflection on the floor. All right, so we're going to have reflection from the outside on the inside. Great. CG machete. I think machete was already inside of his chest, but fine. Blood on his chest. Coffee table. Okay, what is the coffee table? Okay, we have this coffee table. This coffee table is supposed to be removed and supposed to be moved under the chair. We're supposed to have branching, paint fix, remove books on the left side. Okay, another thing. And remove coffee table and add scuff marks to the floor. So there's shitloads of stuff to do. Okay, now I would go one by one and I will start thinking about, okay, what is the... So first of all, okay, I need to close this one. Okay, so, and I will treat it not as one shot. I will treat it as tasks. Again, as we spoke about the programming, this little programming workshop that I did about the Python, very similar in compositing. You really want to use modules as in programming. You're preparing a module, and then this module you used in the bigger module. So a little box going inside of other boxes. And the same right now, this shot has really big amount of tasks, and you don't want to do everything together. You want to concentrate one by one and then just connect them together. So now let's go from front to the backwards, just task-wise. We have these books. They're supposed to be removed because there was a table in previous shot which she just moved to the left side with her magic. Everything fell on the ground, and I think we have to remove these books. Then, is this task that is not connected to all the rest of the tasks? Well, I think yes, because, for example, we'll have task on the reflection of the window, and this reflection will come on top of everything. So this is basically paint task. Well, everybody understand it well. We'll just outsource this, and we will outsource this task. When it will arrive, we'll just put it in our comp and we will be happy. Great. So this is already first separation of our script. Then another one will be the next one will be this coffee table, which is supposed to be erased. Same, we'll just outsource it because it's not interacting with anything else that we're going to replace, and it will be done just on the plate, and we'll just forget about it. We'll just replace it and put it in. Next task will be the this coffee table is supposed to go under the chair, so I know that. It will be CG render. We'll have to prepare masks for the chair, and we'll have to comp it. We'll arrive to that. Again, well, additional task, fine. Next thing will be we'll have to roto Sylvie, because we're replacing all the background behind. We'll have to roto basically all the objects in front. Another task. Everything I'm saying, I'm writing down as to-do list. And as beginning, I will just write it down. That's the first thing, just to acknowledge what we have to do, and that's exactly what was written there. And then we keep going. Okay, so then scratches on the floor, it's in this area. These guys most likely will have to be quite live, running live, because this scratch is going to be affected. So reflection going to be affected by the scratches. Okay, so that's something that, okay, that probably will be in the main script, because that's direct interaction with the background. Okay, let's keep going. Then here we're going to replace the interior and exterior. All right, so my first basic thing will be, again, I will comp separately everything which is inside and everything which is outside, and I will try to keep interaction between them to minimum as for beginning, to keep my script light. And this is important. So that's if you remember, I mentioned in the very beginning, like in the very first workshop, don't try to put everything together. Just build your mainstream and connect everything as layer A, B, A, B, A, B. So there is no kind of, like, for example, because the sky going to affect interior, I will comp them just together from very beginning. No, you don't want to have it. You want to comp them separately. You want to make sky, and make it beautiful. You want to make the interior and make it beautiful. And then just before they connected, preferably, you want to start to work on interaction. Many times it's not going to be possible, or even more frequently, we think that it's not possible, and from very beginning, we're merging them together, and from very first day of your work, you're fucked. Because this sky is going to be madness, and you will see what I'm talking about. And this interior going to be second madness, because we're going to change so much inside that basically nothing will stay from the original material. And it will be very heavy if we have to deal with these two problems together. Okay, a lot of talking, but there was supposed to be a lot of singing in the very beginning. Then we're arriving to exit, and what's happening here, we're in a full CG environment, and something that this will happen. We're starting to work on the shot, effects are not ready yet, and then we're starting to think, okay, that there will be complex effects, and what's usual thing, effects going to render for us the render of this. And next question that you would like to ask yourself, that kind of like I'm always trying to ask myself this when I'm setting up shows and sequences and shots, how much of the render I want to have live from CG guys. For example, and I will make myself very clear. Here we have a lot of parallax, meaning most likely we will want to have the room rendered full range. Why I'm talking about that? This is 900 frames shot, which is pretty much heavy. And if we're rendering full range everything, there's very big implications. Okay, all of us remember these shots on any project when we have frame which is weight one gigabyte and you have 900 of them. So my next question was, okay, what we want to have one frame and then reproject, and what we want to have full frame render. And in this sequence, from people that didn't work on this project, there's like 150 shots, and in most of the shots we had only one frame rendered for environment, because we just have something like that. Camera movement, somebody's talking, everything is fine. But here the decision was made that we will render full range the interior, and I think in the end we actually did use only one frame for certain things. Of course not for the side windows, because side windows that we replaced, there's too much parallax. But that's something that you need to ask yourself as compositor. Even so, you're saying, well, Alexey, what are you talking about? I'm not lead, I'm not supervisor, I'm not deciding this. Yes, you can, because you're going to comp that, and that's your responsibility to deliver the best result. And in many cases, your visual effects supervisor is coming from animation, he's coming from a very big company, and he will like, yeah, I will just render that. Well, we can't. Just if we have 150 shots to render, and you may want to say, well, maybe if there's no parallax, we don't want to do that. We want just to project one frame because there's no parallax. And it will be the same. There will be zero difference in quality, but your life will be way easier. And I'm talking about that because we're arriving to these effects, and effects it's always a problem. And in very beginning, there was decision kind of like, well, we just will render effects with these 900 frames, and this that after a few days already into production, we just realized, well, that will be a very bad idea, because if effects will be rendered with camera and comp will have to adjust that will be a very big problem. And the timeline is located very far away, and that's something that you always need to think about. You need to think what is amount of internal parallax of the object, of the 3D object. You don't care about the parallax between the timeline and the sky, because you put one card, you put another card, you have a parallax, everybody happy. And the timeline is located something like 3 kilometers or 10 kilometers away from us, and this timeline will be not like that, will be more like that. It will have depths, but internal parallax is produced by camera movement. So if your camera is very close to the object, internal parallax is huge. From the moment you're taking the object 3 kilometers away, the movement of the camera not creating any more internal parallax between the branches. Meaning there's zero effect from camera getting 30 meters closer to the object, which is 3 kilometers away. So you don't need to think about what will be parallax between the timeline, foreground, and the background, but you need to think, is camera movement creating internal parallax? If not, you always can project it on the card, and the effect will be one-to-one the same, or almost one-to-one the same. It's depending how far the object. Sometimes you can lie a little bit. In this case, we even didn't have to, because the result was really one-to-one. So what we did, we took the last frame of the timeline, we asked FX to freeze the camera, and then FX did all their work on the still frame in a big resolution with big overscan in case we will want to do some adjustments, which we did. And needless to say, we had to stabilize the real camera. We had to add additional movement to the camera to go and make tilt down, and that's what's happened, kind of like, and then we were free in comp to adjust movement, to adjust whatever we wanted, a little bit left, a little bit right, and so on and so on. Okay, so this is still, I'm giving you kind of introduction of, okay, what we want to do, how we want to do, and so on and so on. Now, let's jump to the, I think we can have a look now to the end. So, I'll show you the moment when comp, because I will not concentrate on everything. I will concentrate on the process that I went through when I was comping. I was responsible for the outside comping of the timeline, while other artists were responsible for comping inside. It will be just too much to talk about if I will try to talk about the one workshop in 1 hour or even less. So effects, so what's happened, these shots were of course pushed for a very long time, and then approximately 3 weeks before end of the show, we had to deliver, and we were not ready, and on certain moment visual effects supervisor said, well, we just cannot iterate anymore with effects, let's go to comp. And that was the moment. So maybe there was some different version of effects, but that's where we are at. Visual effects supervisor saying, well, client approximately likes what's happening there. We do approximately like the look, but we do want to change quite some things. And when I was preparing this workshop, I put these two shots together, two frames together. This is the final version on top, and this is the effects version on bottom. And I was like, what effect did we do for 2 weeks when we did? I think it took 3 weeks to comp it. And I'm like, well, it's pretty similar. What did we do? And the simple fact is that basically we did redo like approximately everything in comp. So if you will to compare actually every branch, you will see that every branch is located in different way. It's comprised from different branches. We have way more details here. And basically, like if you will compare one-to-one, like this branch, which is here, and let's go to same location, and this area, it will be completely different. So that was crazily art directed from the client and from VFX supervisor, where we want to add certain branch, what will be the speed of the growth. So if you will have a look right now, it's growing, and we wanted to really be able to affect which branch growing where, which color is going where, and so on and so on. So in the end, we stayed with the same, look and feel, or approximately, but basically we were able to go and do very fast iterations in comp, or at least that was the intention in the last few weeks, and really rebuild it, not from scratch, taking the good elements from effects, but really rebuild it quite a lot in this limited amount of time. And we, yes, wanted very fast iterations. Now, imagine shot of 900 frames, and then imagine that you need to bring two iterations a day. And I'm talking about shot which is extremely, extremely heavy. I'm not, like you didn't see now yet what's happening interior. It's just the outside, and I will start talking about the how we did build that and how we made it basically happen. Okay, questions so far? All right, let's go. So now I will not start from very zero. I will start from the where I did pick it up as very beginning, and now I will jump between scripts, and I will try to highlight things that I find important in organization of the script and readability and work with the other people, which I already mentioned. But right now we'll just have a look on the script and we will have really script review. So that script that I picked up from whoever was starting the look def on this shot, or comping the interior, and on this time it was looking, I don't know actually, let's see if I will see how did it look like. So it was looking something like that, and we're really kind of like in relative beginning, and we need to keep going. And from a very like far away look of the script, I was like, okay, cool. So we have two main branches. When we have main branch on the right side, we have main branch on the left side, and I really like it because I can already start to understand, like I have two modules that hopefully separated, and I will dive inside and I will check more and more in depth what is where. So this one, let's start here. So let's go to pre-renders already. So as you can see, artist did cache here. Okay, so everything here is a sky, and it's just the background. It's separated. Now I see here that there's a timeline affecting the background, and that's something that I would say, and I don't see timeline itself. Now, important, and I don't know, maybe people that worked on this shot are here. I see Michelangelo is there, and like there are a few people that touch this.
Yep.
It's not kind of like, well, that's bad, this bad. I'm looking on the things, and a good chance that there was good reason on certain moment. Also in scripts that you'll see from mine, which I do want to criticize right now, so just to highlight things. So we have pre-render of the background with the baked in displacement of the different object. Now, this is something that you try to, if you want to work separately, you want to have your background clean and then different object coming on top. And just before these two background and different object connected, all the displacement, all the light wraps are happening. So pre-render, and here on the connection, you want to start to play with the things. Okay, so that's probably happening somewhere here. Again, even for you guys, I know that you don't know the script, but we can read things. Now, I see here there's some area which is not connected. Probably artist like played with something and then he went through to this. Now, I know what's happening is here. This is the big setup that we did build to create the background. And there's a lot of things which are happening. I can see this branch and this branch. Now, I'm not very much interested in that, in this background. Because in my work, I'm going to concentrate on the timeline itself. And the background I would like to give to other compositor, that he will deal with that. And important what I see here, well, it's already separated. So, and my next step will be exactly what I'm doing. I want to see, okay, is it actually separated? Because there is usage of postage stamps, and I want to see, well, can we separate? Can we put it in a different script? And right now I'm saying, well, we can't. So some connections are coming to the base, which is, what is this, camera? Well, that's fair enough. Some connections coming, this is the same area we'll consider, and then something is coming here. And that's something that will happen a lot. And I see that he's using depths of the church windows to affect something here. And my first thing will be, if I'm picking up the script, is to see, can I get rid of that? And in this case, I see, okay, actually it's disabled and actually it's not in use. So most likely I will just delete these nodes and I will get rid of this of this dependency. Okay, the question if I can rid of that, that's like you're starting with cleanups and so on and so on, but basically that will be way of me to separating. I would separate this completely and I will keep going. Okay, then here we have another thing, and I already recognize how effects artists are working. We'll talk about this a little bit later, but this is the timeline itself. Again, I'm not expecting from you to follow completely, but I just want to say, okay, this is the timeline from effects department. They did build it, and this is the grading that they did. And here I have a big problem because all the read notes not in upper part of the script, and I don't know if, for example, this read note is, for example, branch A version 5, and here branch A version 3, meaning if they mix in versions. When we're storing all the read notes up, we're never mixing versions. We know this is the branch A and this is the only branch A we have. And effects guys doing magic there, and they can mix versions, which is in the end will shoot in our kind of like foot all the time. So I'm like, okay, so first of all, we have good block of branch of the timeline, and this is good. It's inside of the block. Now, outside of this block, there's too many things going out. and I want to see where it's going to. So, and we're starting to see there's some color correction on the background one, and then there is an actual connection here. Now, as you can see, it's disabled. It's all, I don't know what's happening there, but I already can see I can separate that as well, and I will. Okay, so let's keep going. Then I will switch my attention right now to the, because I'm not going to clean up the script right now. It's just the how I would think. Then I will switch my attention to the left side, and here I was quite pleased when I saw this. I was like, well, this is very nice. Oh shit, it's going from down here, and that's something that you don't want to do. Let's see what's happening there. And this is actually pre-render of the sky from comp version 9 of the comp element, which is fair enough. And I will just take this guy because it's pre-render, and I'll take it up. I'll try to take it. Just a second, I'm frozen. Oh no. Okay, good. I'll just bring it up here to the all pre-renders, just for now, so it will not confuse us. So this entity is completely separated. You see, it's going just to our pre-renders, and this is great. And this is already pre-renders done here, cache, and under pre-renders, because this was template, I know that it was done relatively properly. Under pre-renders, there's also things which are going only to the upper part, which is good. I'll go to next one. Same, great. And as you can see here, connection is clean to your tree. This guy here, I was confused. So this I really didn't like. I was like, boom, and then I'm going to some kind of like very scary mess. And then when I came here, I started to see immediately stuff that I really don't like, that we have this read note here, which I'm like, well, what is this? Undistorted degrain, definitely wrong place to be. It's supposed to be an upper part of the script because we do want to use it once and not many times. And then after kind of like checking, I realized, okay, this is actually the keying setup. And I would say like whatever happening in this keying setup, I may not like it, fine. And that's people doing keying in different ways, and we have workshops about keying. I will, like, we can talk about that, but I don't think that we should, because we're talking about the general script. What I would recommend generally, if you have something like that, please take care that if you have this mess, and sorry, I don't want to be, if you have something which is kind of like not very organized, at least be sure that you connecting to your tree in an organized way, and it's understandable where actually your connection is happening. Because when I'm looking on this and I will move it away, I see 4 connections going down there, and there is no need. Your keying setup, it's a layer. It's supposed to go on top, it's supposed to get some light wrap, it's supposed to get some color correction, and you do want, and you can, in 99%, you can connect properly to the main branch. And here, it's for you as well, you need to understand, okay, so we're going here, then we're going probably here. What's happening here? Just give me a second, there's some switch STM up. So here it's starting to be, so there is some tracking, but actually, so you don't want to start crossing your lines. It's for you, it's for everybody else, and it's not necessary. That's why I'm like, this is really important part. You, yes, can keep it exactly as these guys, just layers, okay? In 99%, and I know what I'm talking about because I was comping this shot or shot similar like that. Okay, I will not go inside of this, whatever is happening there, which is not necessary. Then we also have things here. If I will select this, let's just check if we have some crazy stuff happening. Okay, so I can see that everything which is fed is basically coming from this area, which is good. And then we have some dependency from up here, but it's actually just the only connection of this area is actually here. Okay, and if I will move it here, it's already way more readable. Okay, I can say, well, fine, and then this guy going here, and then something is happening, it's already, so it's a matter of a few minutes to take the same script, make it more understandable, and then even for a person that comping in this way, for himself, it will be more, oh, actually, maybe I can consolidate. Maybe I can put stuff together here, and then I will connect in one place. Okay, but anyway, I will ignore this for now, and I will keep going. And then we're going here, we have additional branch, and then we have this guy. This is just hazes. And if I will go here, I will see, okay, they basically on the left side, this is all good, they dependent on the top things. And there's quite some dependencies which I do not like, and I know that it was mostly necessity, and especially these 2 guys coming here, and it's actually mask of HWR. it's absolutely not mistake, and what usually I will do, I will erase all this. It's not mistake, but I would recommend bring it up there, since you anyway using this as a stamp, you can also just do something like that. And again, I don't see what I'm doing, but I know that I'm changing nothing. And I will just bring it here, fine, whatever's happening there. And then this mask, because it's used many times in the script, if you can see, okay, it will go here because it's better, will be in the main area of the maskings. Okay, good, there, somewhere there. And now I can see this guy. What is this? There is some matte, which is the keying, matte of the keying. We need it there, but fair enough. Okay, this is kind of separate entity. Okay, and then we connect it here, and this is the connection that I'm talking about. And already here we can see, so this is our foreground most likely, this is our background, and then they connected together, and interaction between them are built here. Now it's very beginning of the script, at the very beginning of the shot, and we would like to keep as much interaction in this area. Right now nothing visible because we're already outside. So for example, one of the interactions will be the outside world will affect the glass. So what we can do, instead of affecting the glass very, very much up there with our sky, we will bring the matte, the alpha, the DI matte of the glass to this area here. And then with this alpha, we will affect the glass here. Does it make sense? Instead of doing connection like in this area. So where is the glass? Glass, I think, is here. So we could just take the sky and then go with our sky here and start to multiply on the glass, which I think we also did in many shots, which kind of like, well, we could do it better. But then every time we're changing the sky, we'll have to re-render that, we'll have to re-render that. But if we're just taking the mask of the window from the very far away and bringing this mask inside of hidden channel here, we can do all the interaction here, while this guy is pre-rendered or done by other compositor in different script. Okay? A lot of talking, I understand, but that's what we're doing right now. Questions so far? Okay, good. So that was the very first look, and then I was talking to compositor, and then I was like, okay, let's do following. You will take care of this, I will take care of that, and we're going to split our scripts. And we did reorganize slightly scripts, and all this went to script called Sky, which I will talk about later. All this stayed in the script called BG, background, and then we did provide to this script, we did provide the sky. In the same time, the guy that was working, and sorry, I don't remember who, in a certain moment it was Yuri and Michelangelo, and also we had two other composers that helped. So sorry if I will not name exactly who was doing what in a certain moment. And basically on the sky script, I was receiving pre-render of the foreground for myself to work with. And this is kind of like quite important part that, well, you're splitting your shots. You're splitting your shot to few scripts. You always can take comp element for one, put as a temporary, just preview for yourself to the different scripts, so you will be not blind when you're working just on the sky. Because I know that this is one of the biggest fears of people. I'm afraid to split. I will not see what I'm doing. No, just take the comp element. You're always using the latest pre-render from the other script. Keep going. Okay, so I will show now the final. So this is the version 12 of the background. So after it went through look dev, comp, and so on and so on. And that's script which is something like 3 weeks after the look dev was done, look dev script. Okay, and if you will have a look on this guy, I believe can see that this guy, it did not become more messy, and this guy is full of pre-renders. This guy is pretty much always and this already, I think Michelangelo, I think you were taking care of the comp of this guy, and that's already was really taking things from only proper locations. We did rework the keying setup. We did we made this guy being very modular, so everything could be pre-rendered, and everything was way heavier because we did add every time more reflections, more interactive light, more. But because we were super strict with the organization, because we knew that the pay will be so heavy, and it even with the pre-renders it already was very heavy script. But that's basically the final look of the script. I probably will come back there, but right now let's jump to the sky setup and let's see how did we try to deal with the comping of the effects. Very similar principles. All right, so let's talk about the sky. I will not show you because my memory will explode, but basically that was the script that I received from FX artist, and that's how did it look like as a FX artist comp. Okay, and let's just see and let's talk about the basic things with when you're receiving script from lighting or FX artist. There will be first of all one important part. VFX supervisor will tell you, dude, just plug it in, it's already almost there, check it out, I love it, let's have a look. Okay, let's deliver. Where is the problem? Now, important from your side as compositor is to take this guy and rebuild it in the way that you will be able to keep working. And there will be always pressure from VFX soup, or mostly will be pressure from VFX soup, from production, because they will say, well, but the effects already did such an amazing job. I'm very glad they did an amazing job, and they did in this case and in many cases, and they managed to sell that to VFX. And that's what they kind of like, you know, they want to sell that, and also they want to help you, but first of all, they want to sell the script. And they want to sell the result, not the script. And the problem is that if you will take it as it is, you are fucked completely. There's no way you will finish the show. There's no way you will be able to do 2 iterations a day. There's no way you will be able to do nothing. And I'm talking not from theoretic knowledge. I'm talking from knowledge of many cases. And that's how I build at least my way to dealing with that. I'm always taking this guy, putting this aside, and I'm rebuilding it. And in many cases, what I was kind of like very amazed that they're managing to extract very nice look in their scripts. And the VFX supervisor falling in love with this look. And when you're rebuilding this in the way that you will be able to work with the stuff, you're losing this look. And that will happen. That will happen in most of the cases. Don't be intimidated by that. As a first step, you want to rebuild it in the way that you will be in control of your script. This is the most important for you on the first step, okay? Your second step is try to get closer to the look that they had. And then you could start copy their nodes as beginning, and then like just inside of your structure and try to bring it back, or you can start looking what actually they did. So here, for example, they did that's light groups or DI channels and so on. And then they're using color corrections. Now, as you can see, there's 5 billion color corrections, and you can see this one color correct, another, multiply. Now, this all can be one grade node. Trust me, it can, okay? It can be grade node and saturation node, okay? Now, they went through the process exactly as you going through the process of look depth, and that's starting to be messy. Now, what you want to do, you want to unmess that for you, because for you, it's not an end of the road, it's the beginning. And you really in the beginning want to be very, very organized. Another thing that I notice that there's many unnecessary connections which will kill your script immediately. Okay, so for example, I would say we have this guy here, okay? So, and I'm always will try to bring this guy as very beginning to be modular. So right now it is not, so this is coming, for example, from this, but that's pretty much the core, which is fine, okay? I will be able to grab this. I want to bring some example that I did, here, for example. This line is coming here, and it's coming here. So what is important and how you in very base can start cleaning things up. This guy is using alpha of the output of this branch, but this is just an alpha. And this alpha here most likely will be the same or similar to alpha of this read node, meaning you can just do something like that, meaning you can just make postage stamp of this guy, and then there will be zero connection between this branch and this color correction. Okay, so this is the this is kind of like generally like thinking how to taking this apart. Most likely I'll just go one by one. First I will take this read node, I will copy that, and then I will say myself, I will just mark this copied. Okay, so this one I took care. These guys are red and not normal color because I took care of each one of them and I built my own script. And let's check this out. And that was the base script. So this is a Sky version 1, and that's how it did look like after rebuild. So we have all these guys, all the read nodes, they went inside of the backdrop, and all of them have now postage, have stamp, and all of them are inside of the script itself. Now, let's talk about that. Well, you're already familiar with basically with the look. You already know where I'm going to. I do want to have one main branch, and I do want to have many branches connected. Saying that, you also want to create sub branches because you want to be able to pre-render not one by one, but you want to put all of them on pre-render. So basically, if I will put pre-render here, it will pre-render everything. Or this is my sub branch. Now, you want to have some logic by your sub branches. For example, you can say, well, the first logic will be, this is the background, this is the midground, this is the foreground. In the very beginning, after investigating this script, I realized that most of the things are overt plus screened. Now, I don't use screen. Use screen, it's your kind of like fine. I don't like screen. Then I ask myself, do I want to over or I can plus? And I saw that actually the plus and over operations in this specific script were just like, well, maybe plus, maybe over. And then I tell myself, you know what? I will take over out, I will ignore alphas, and I will just use plus. So everything will be additive. Everything is source of light, everything is additive. Let's see, maybe it will not work, but it was a decision that I made, and that's what's happened here. Basically, I started to plus things. And then in the very beginning, I said, well, I still will grab alpha and I will connect alpha in mainstream. So maybe later I will have already alpha prepared for myself. And that's what's this very, very first script. And then I will touch kind of like, well, what's happened here? I'm taking an element, I'm grading the element, and that's it. Some grades, some additional things. There's millions of things which will happen later there, but that was very, very base. And here I did the put together, let's see, what is this, by what? Okay, so here I said I will put together all the big branches, and that was the way to create sub-branch. There will be big branches, there will be sub-branch of the core, and as you can see already we have problems here, and there will be sub-branch of the little branches. And then there will be sub-branch of the stuff that I'm building in comp from the scratch to create additional branches that client wanted. Okay, branch, 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 and then now let's go here and let's have a look what's happening here with glows, because usually I don't know if it will be. So basically, what's happening here on every branch there's exponential glow. Here, here, here twice, and so on and so on. At the very beginning, you don't want to do that. You want to put your comp, all your effects together, comp them, and then you want to put glow in the end. One. And then you say, well, I want additional glow. And next to it, you put another one. Again, effects, not effects, the magic effects. It's not the real life thing, so we can lie with that. And real life, you don't have glow on one element, then glow on another element. In real life, you have glow because lens is not capable to deal with the brightness. Meaning one glow, where before you're rendering, that's it. There is no such a thing as a glow. If you're looking on the bulb is glowing, close the aperture, there will be no glow anymore. So there was no glow, there was just very bright element. And that's how I would like you to think all the time, because if you put glow on one branch and then on another and then on another and then you're multiplying, you're arriving to crazy values, and then it's probably impossible to control your script. Later on, especially with magic effects, you maybe will want to go to one of the branches and start to pick it up. But as a general advice, This is end of my comp. This is last additional branches that I added. And here I started with the, okay, I will give a general glow, which will be the normal expansion glow. And then I will give some glow, which is even wider, bigger. Very first assumption. And this is just glow, another glow, done. Now, as you can see here, I have a tracking. You remember we spoke about that it's all steel frame basically? And this is very big deal because till here, I'm capable to do everything without taking care of the tracking. I can cut parts, put them in another place, and so on and so on and so on, without kind of like, oh, I need to track it in, and so on and so on and so on. And then I will track everything down. As a beginning, as you can see, I put it on the side because my first step was to get the look. Single frame, get the look, approve it with the VFX supervisor, and that's what's happened. They wanted to see the shot, and we just told them, guys, no, we're going to bring you one frame for review, you will approve this frame, and then we will keep render 900 frames. And we will not render 900 frames because in first 500 frames you don't see the effects. So you really need to be specific when you're working physically, and you need to be specific when you're working time-wise. On this specific time frame, it's important for me to concentrate on the look. Don't render all the frames, because I'm so frequently I hear from compositor, yeah, dude, it takes time and stuff, and I'm like, well, when we are in layout, it's not supposed to take time. Like disable everything, disable all effects, render the layout, or render one frame if we were talking about the look depth. So, and that's what we were thinking in the beginning. We have some tracking, we're projecting on the sphere, which is very far away, and now it's disabled. Now, let's go here. So this is our friend from other script. This is the sky setup. And right now, I really was not interested in sky. So we have some cache, we pre-rendered that. And we were interested in the interaction because already in first frame, client wanted dark sky, and that's everything where the timeline is appearing will be darkened. So very simple, erode, grade to 0, and that was fine. And of course, we want to see it a little bit with context, and that's the comp element from our background comp setup. Very light, red, green, blue, alpha, but then you have very good representation. Let's check this out, of how it's going to look like in the end. This is look depth version 19. As you can see, this is full frame render, one frame, that's it. Okay. Okay. So that was the first the beginning, and now I see that we like 10 minutes to go. I will now advance every 10 versions, and we'll see how the script did change and how we did advance and how we managed to keep things consistent and not heavy. So first of all, on the same time, somebody is working on this background, same time somebody is working on this foreground. Okay, so 3 compositors working completely, not completely, they're working separately, but every time when I'm done with this, I will send in my pre-render. As you can see, there's 0 pre-renders. Yes, version 1, we're just building stuff, we're checking for all errors. Let's go to version 10. All right, now, version 10. So there are a few things did change, and let's touch these things, and let's see how it did affect our speed. So first of all, we did create pre-renders under every branch. Pre-render, pre-render. You see they're all not pre-rendered right now, but they are there. Second, I moved this one to be separate branch and not being on the main branch because I don't like it. And I'm preparing that for being pre-render, to be able to pre-render just all of them if needed. Then we can see that here also just pre-render added, and here we also added some pre-renders. Additionally, each one of the backdrops received some additional color corrections, some additional treatments, but none of them is under pre-render. Now, this is very important part of advancement. What you want to do, you want to create your pre-renders, and then you want to work fast, meaning you will create some grade nodes here, some additional masks and so on after pre-render. But then when you're rendering your version, you're saying, well, I like it. Your next step, you're taking these guys, you're opening your pre-render, and you put them here, and you keep going, rendering, pre-render, and again you are clear state. You again very fast. Let's keep going. What else changed here? Okay, I added many additional veins. Let's try to see what was it. Okay, so see additional branches arrived there, and again, well, they just together, they're doing their things, and they have one output, and they plus together. I did add additional noise on top of everything because that's what was in effects, and I was like, well, that may be a good idea, and our glow setup started to be more and more complicated. Better, definitely not, but more complicated, yes, and one place only. Our track, we added motion blur, we still disabled, and so on. Let's see what else. We don't care about the rest. Okay, so let's keep advancing because our script will be more and more kind of like, let's go to version 20. Let's see what is the next, what's happening. Okay, so you see that our general structure did not change much. What I will tell you in this version, that some of the branches moved from here to here, or like from here to here, because the logic of how I wanted to combine them did change in my head, and I knew that I'm plusing here anyway. And in the main tree, on the mainstream, I have no glow, I have no multiply operations, and no screen, meaning I can very much move easily every backdrop to every part of the script without paying the price, because here there's 0 operations and the rest is just plus. Okay, but logically now it's way easier for me to see things. And as you can see now, everything is pre-rendered, and everything that I added, and I added quite big amount of corrections, is located on top. If I will check each one of them, they're all going upwards. And we will arrive to problematic things that I was doing, and I felt that I have to do. Maybe I did, maybe I didn't. Additionally, you can see here, I started to experiment adding additional effects, additional branches, and as you can see, they're under the pre-render. Don't worry, from the moment I will see, and also here, I will see that, we'll talk about this, I will put them in proper place. So here, for example, this is additional effects, and I will locate them, put them in a different place. Now, let's see what's happened here. So I felt that I have to affect, and I know what this thing is, if I'm not mistaken, these branches. So basically, then we needed to create the growth of these branches, and this growth is supposed to be driven by other branches of the script. So these little branches supposed to appear because the big branch is pushing forward. Well, then I'm saying, well, I cannot pre-render that because this is dependent on the branch which is here. And that's something that you need to keep in your mind. You cannot put this anymore inside of this cache. And if you put, you need to put very big backdrop, very red backdrop, and say this is dependent on the other branch. Okay, so this will have from now on to run live. And that's starting to make things heavy and complicated, but well, I had to do that, or I think that I had to do that. Okay, so that's interesting where we're going to. Here, millions of additional veins created. Again, as you can see, this is approved by myself. This is probably from my previous version. Additional glows now. I'm still trying to hit the look of these glows. I'm rebuilding the things. It's on top of everything. And my track now is the main track, and it does kind of like already I'm rendering this out. Here I'm starting to collaborate with the artist which doing the comp script. I'm providing him with the comp element which he's using inside of his comp script. And then here, as you can see, my background changed because somebody did pick up the creation of the background. And right now, actually no one did pick it up. I just did rebuild it. It's still basically the background. Okay, and here nothing did change. Let's keep going. Let's see what else we can find interesting, maybe somehow. Version 30, we just keep going. If I will look on version 30, you remember here things that I was saying that, well, this is the approved by myself, this is not. If I will go to version 30, I can see that click, my pre-rendered moved to the lower area, and now this is already pre-rendered, and I'm always leaving myself not actually how many frames I want to pre-render, when I actually need it. Okay, so as you can see here, these guys didn't move yet downwards, and let's see if I will do it in version 40. Let's see what additionally happened here. And nothing crazy. From now on, it's really a lot of modification. There's like very big work done in these areas, but that's, we don't care. So that was 30. Let's go to version 44. Let's go to last one because we are out of time anyway. So this is version 44, and if you will have a look on the last version, and version 44, it was like basically final version of the script, you can see that we did create a lot of stuff additionally. We did receive additional renders, which kind of went up there. So this one was quite heavy thing created in Com just to add some motion. And I definitely had to pre-render that because, and then that was used in the script, but pre-rendered. This is very big red backdrop. You remember I told you if you're using something fishy, add very something visible for yourself. And what's happening here has dependencies, meaning because I wanted to work fast, I put some pre-renders. I put something here which is fishy. I don't see it right now, frankly. Or maybe this is the, let's see. Okay, this guy, yes, that's right. You see now, this steams affecting something which is pre-rendered here, meaning that every time when I want to render this guy, I'm like, oh shit, I'm dependent on something. I need to see that if these guys are updated properly. It just was already too heavy, too many elements, and I said, well, I cannot get around it. I want to do fast iterations, but at least I want to see what's happening. And again, in all the rest of the cases, everything new you're adding, you put your pre-render, and your main tree, even after so many versions, is clean. Whatever I was doing here, I don't know. Okay, this is glow. And here, as you can see, I'm starting to panic, most likely. I'm starting to add many things of the main tree, and I'm starting to like, oh, what the hell is happening? Okay, few color corrections, not something crazy, but still, it is not something very, very good. Okay, my final comp element, tracked in. And as you can see here, we already cleaned everything, that we're just getting the render from other artists of the background with no timeline while he's working on it. Last 3 minutes, let's assume we finished the sky, and that's how it looks like. That's how I was selling this to the VFX supervisor. But Compositor, which is working on the final script, actually is getting sky version 44. And we're talking about the script called the background that we saw already, not comp. Not sky, BG. So Compositor is getting this render somewhere here, most likely, and his script is just going here. He has his pre-render. So from the moment he's telling me, dude, I'm ready, send me the comp element, he has this pre-render. I'm giving him the timeline here. He's rendering this out, and we are ready. So we rendered another comp element before flare, because in the end we of course wanted to put flares, and the final file out, we're getting there, was actually somewhere. Give me a moment, I will find it. Sky. Comp. It was this comp which just received the render of all work that we did together. We did put some lens flares, we did put some lens dirt, and we did many iterations here because we want this lens that, we want this like that. So as you can see, 59 minutes, I'm done with kind of my explanation. I hope you did learn something, it didn't fall asleep. But basically that's the workflow that I would like you to try to use and to get your shots done in time, and try not to get yourself in complicated corners. That's it. Questions?
Just one thing. I think I already asked that in the past. When you have like this subscript, do you have a way that you can connect directly to the bigger script, the big picture? Or no, let's say you're just working here instead of the render. You have something that you can call back the script where you were working before.
Based on read node?
Yeah.
Well, it triggers our pipeline. We can just open the nuke script, yes.
Okay. But you have some, like let's say a button instead of the read that you can go there, right? That's working. I just didn't remember if I asked that before. Cool.
Yeah. we do have it. Yeah. So, guys, if you don't have more questions, thank you very much for your time. Hope we did learn something today, and enjoy your working day. All right.
Thank you, Alexey.
Thank you
very much.
Very nice.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Ciao.
Bye bye. Thank you. Bye.
Nice
Bye.
one, everyone.